Hello friends, and today I'm going to teach you something about the charge. That what we know about the charge and what we don't know about it. So basically we don't know what is charge but we know the properties of charge. So we are going to study here about the charges and its property. So first of all, I would like to give you the brief introduction what actually the charge is. I will stick you to the concept of, you all know about the nuclear model of the atom. There is a nucleus which consists of neutron, which consists of proton, and there with the electrons moving around the orbital. So here we are going to discuss about the charged particle, the branch of physics which deals with the study of the charged particles is known as electrodynamics. What? Electrodynamics. So if there is a charge, there can be the two states. There can be two states of charge. One could be the charge could be at rest, and in the other case charge could be in motion. When we are going to deal with the properties of the charge at rest, the charge at rest, when we are going to deal with it, makes the branch of the physics which is called the electrostatic. And when this charge is in motion, then only we are going to study the magnetostatics. So in this introductory lecture, I am just wanted to show you that we are going to study the charge at rest, charge and charge at motion. Charges at rest and charges at motion. So when these two combines, this alone we study in the electrostatics and this alone we study in the magnetostatics. And when they combine the properties of the charges at rest and motion, then we're going to what we are dealing with is the electromagnetic waves that we call electromagnetics. And combined all these charges at rest, charges at motion, and a combined study of the charges at rest and motion, which you deal is the branch of electrodynamics. So basically what we start today is the charge. In this primary lecture we are going to start with there are the four units. First one is electrostatic, second is magnetostatic. No, we are not saying static, and it resembles the rest, and we cannot say that magnetostatic, that we simply call the magnetism. And third, when we deal with the combined study of the charges at rest and charges at motion, we call the electromagnetic induction. So we will initialize ourselves with the electrostatics. They are combined the properties of the charges at rest, how they behave, how they interact with other particles, and what are some basic concepts regarding the charge at rest. And then we will go to the magnetism, where the charges and motion produce the magnetic field. And in the overall concluded lecture that we will study in better half time is the electromagnetic induction. This is all, only these three are covered in the dynamics. So we will start with the electrostatic. So basically, forgetting about the electrostatic, magnetostatic and electromagnetic static, any type of force, any type of charges attract each other. It's not the fundamental that they charge residing at one place and attracting in another place. For attraction or for the repulsion, there must be a field. The charges produce the field. Charges produces the field, and these fields when comes in contact with another charged particle experience these fields. When the charged particles comes in the contact with this field, then they experience the force. So simply starting with the electric field or the magnetic field is not enough. We will start the electrostatics with the basic law, and that law is called the Coulomb's law of attraction or repulsion. It could be anything. So Coulomb's law, starting with the Coulomb's law, we better know, like it is symmetrically to the mechanics that Newton's law of gravitation. As the Newton said that the Newton's law of gravitation. So as the Newton said that the two masses separated by the distance r exert a force on each other which is proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the distance of the square root. And for the replacement of the proportionality constant, there was a universal gravitational constant G, which is said to be the universal gravitation. And similarly, in the Coulomb's law, when there is a mass, there is a Newton's law of gravitation, and when there is a charged particle, then basically what we are dealing with the two charged particles separated by the distance r. And the force of attraction between these two charged particles is directly proportional to Q1 and Q2. And this force is also inversely proportional to 1 by r square. So combining these two conclusions, we are going to write that F is proportional to Q1, Q2 by r square. So deleting the proportionality constant, it's something like 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by r square. And this 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is called the constant. Its directly value 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. That value comes to be 9 into 10 to the power 9. And where epsilon naught is called a permittivity constant, permittivity of free space. That what with the introductory lecture of the electrostatics starts from here. The one and only Coulomb's law is responsible for the initialization of the charges, electrostatic, and when we are dealing with the important familiar Coulomb's law, F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by r square, and deleting the proportionality constant, that must be the 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. There is constant, and that's value 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is equal to 9 into 10 upon 9. Unit you have to identify. I will tell it next. That and epsilon naught is the permittivity of the free space. It depends upon the nature of the medium. So basically all what we studied, that it is the introductory lecture, what we are dealing with and what we are going to deal with. We are dealing with the charges, we are dealing with their properties, and these combined branches, if they are dealing with the charge can be at the two states. The two states are at rest or the motion. If the charge is at rest, then what we study is the electrostatic, and when the charge is in motion, then what we study is the magnetostatics. And when the combined study of the charges at rest and charges at motion concluded the electromagnetic induction. It's electromagnetic induction. So basically there is 3 units to have studied. I will cover over the 3 units: electrostatics, when the charge is at rest, magnetism, and I here didn't mention that magnetostatic because it resembles that is also static field, but that's not true. So I here only certainly concluded that magnetism. And now combined study of electromagnetic induction. So starting with the Coulomb's law, the very basic and the very symmetrical case of the known publicity, Newton's law of gravitation. As the Newton suggested that the mass of separated by the distance r attract each other, but there is just one difference. Newton's law of gravitation, Newton says that mass always attract each other, but in Coulomb's law this force might be attractive or repulsive depending upon the nature of the charge. If the charges are same of the nature, they will repel each other. If the charges are opposite of nature, they attract each other. What we do mean by same nature attract? That means only the charge. Means what is the magnitude, not what is the charge, that is plus charge or minus charge. So this is the F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square, and F is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square, and this is a 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught equal to 9 into 10 to the power 9. In which unit you have to find out. And where epsilon naught is the permittivity of the free space, and its also value is 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12. It's minus 12. 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12 unit. Yeah. So this was all the introductory lecture. From onwards I will start a later moment. Thank you.